Hi all, welcome again to my YouTube channel. Let's continue on this topic of burnout at work. Now that we've learned about burnout, we've had an introduction to burnout, we've looked at the signs, we've looked at the consequences of burnout. How about we cover now strategies and ways in which we can manage burnout? Let's avoid burnout so that we can enjoy work and strategically put in measures to try and prevent the work-related burnout. So one of the biggest things I must say that are important in managing burnout, number one, is boundary setting. It is very, very important to put in boundaries around things that you do from day to day to ensure that you're looking after yourself and that you're not getting burnt out. So some of the places that you need to put boundaries in are work life, in your work and in your life. And generally life is, things away from workplace, your family, your friends, the other things that you enjoy doing, your hobbies and stuff like that. Have a way of setting boundaries up to which, what can I do? What can I bend? What can't I compromise on? What is so important to me that I cannot let go? Put boundaries in place, simple things like, there's no way I'm going to miss my children's birthdays. There's no way I'm going to miss my children's school-related activities. There's no way I'm going to miss 1, 2, 3. This is important to me. And if this is happening, one simple thing, like, if you're not, like, your life is, Sundays are important to you. In Australia, you are paid way more if you work on Sunday. But I know that sometimes, you may have to put in boundaries because, it is important for you as a family, let's say, to go together to church, or it is important to you as a family to do activities together on Sunday because that's when all of you are available and stuff like that. So it's important to put in boundaries and say, this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. This is what I can compromise on and this is what I am definitely non-compromisable. Important to put boundaries in that place. The other thing that I have found, and I must say I've been a culprit of this, is overcommitting. When you overcommit in terms of, like, I still find it so hard to say no. Like, one of my recent shifts have been like crazy shifts because obviously I just if somebody asks me, can we swap shifts or something like that? And clearly I do not have something that I've set aside for us to do as a family and stuff like that. And let's say I'm not doing much as I do not like that specific shift. I sometimes just end up picking the shift or overcommitting in terms of, like, I will help you do this, I will help you do this, I'll help you do this. Let's even talk about in your home space. Like, I will take my son to the barber, I will come back and do this with him, I'll come back and fix dinner, I'll come back and fold clothes. That's overcommitting. Remember, you're just one person and you only have 24 hours, and part of those 24 hours is for sleep. So your productive hours are relatively quite few hours. So it's very important to not overcommit. It's okay to learn to say no to something. It's okay to learn to say, look, I'm not in a position to do that today. I'm not in a position to help you today, so that at the end of the day, you're protecting yourself from, like, always feeling tired, always feeling fatigued, and feeling, starting to get burnout in your workplace. The other thing is obviously be able to, sometimes I think one thing that I have found myself really guarding against is, heart sink patients. I don't know if you guys have heard about heart sink patients. Heart sink patients are essentially those patients that come to you. God, as a doctor, you naturally, naturally you have this ability to just feel empathetic for people, want to help them and stuff like that. But sometimes you get patients that just, you feel at the end of the consult, they've literally sucked everything from you. And woe unto you if you're in general practice and you're a first, second patient of the day. They've literally sucked everything from you. They will book in one 10-minute appointment, and then they will come in and they will stay almost 1 hour. A lot of times, heart sink patients can definitely, and especially if you have a couple of them, or just generally, if you just have really, really complex patients, so many complex patients, at the end of the day, you may actually start feeling, the pressures that are associated with managing and coordinating care for these patients. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying maybe you need to manage expectations. In the past, what I have done is, instead of seeing these patients weekly, what I have done is I have scheduled the appointments every fortnight or every month. And then that way, they know that in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to go see Dr. Anna, or weekly on Monday, I'll go in to see Dr. Anna, and I'm going to make a long appointment, and I will be mindful of time. So we just get a compromise. We reach a compromise and we say, look, we are going to have a double appointment. We are going to stick within the double appointment. We will list what needs to be done immediately, and we will list things that I'm likely to see you again, and we go through. Okay, so I've found that quite important, especially in the general practice scenario, and obviously that in the end has helped me also just look, not look forward per se, but when I see such patients, I don't feel that feeling of like, oh, yet again and stuff like that. I actually, know that we will meet up, and I know that we'll do 1, 2, 3, and by the end of the day, the patient is happy and I am happy. The other thing is obviously just be realistic. Be realistic with your expectations, and also be realistic in the responsibilities that you take up. If you're not in a position to take up some tasks, just leave them. Okay. Number 2 that I find very important, which is one of the strategies that you need to apply to prevent, but at the same time to manage burnout, is time management. Time management is very, very key. I find, like in my day-to-day, if you do not manage your time well, time is constant. It's always moving. It will not stop for you. And why I say this is, especially if you're like, let's say you're an after-hours doctor. Time is trickling along. You've got a couple of reviews, 5, 6 reviews. My advice would be prioritize your tasks. Prioritize what is urgent, what is emergency, what can wait, what cannot wait. Okay? Once you do that, then see if you can delegate some tasks. See, like let's say on your job list, you have a chest pain, you have a patient that has delirium, you have a patient that need a cannula for IV antibiotics, you have a patient that needs some pain management, and let's say, what's the 5th one? You've had a patient that is upset their consultant has not come in, and you have 5 reviews at the same time as an after-hours doctor. My go-to would be, which one is most urgent in terms of prioritization of my task? Obviously, the chest pain will come off as number 1. But then I will not see the chest pain and leave all the others hanging. I will see, do I have another colleague on that I will send to review this delirium? And then I will call the nurse and the coordinator and say, look, hey, I'm really swamped. Is there any chance you can try and put in that IV cannula before I come? If you don't get it, that's fine. As soon as I finish, I will come and help. Okay, and then I will say, how about you tell that patient that's not happy that their boss did not come in, tell them that, look, I have a few other urgent things to look at. When I get a minute, I will come in to see you, or do you mind asking what their concerns are about and just let me know, or speak to the boss directly. And then obviously, that one extra patient who I forget what it was, a pain management, you can always give like a quick phone order and say, look, give this patient 1, 2, 3. And as soon as I finish, I will come and assess the patient to see if their pain is because of something organic, or if there's something else I can do to help. And in that, you've done 5 tasks at the same time. This nurse number 5 is not going to be upset with you because you've sorted them out. Nurse number 4 will not be upset with you because you've sorted them out. And in the long run, you've prioritized, you've delegated, and you're not going to feel overwhelmed. Because remember, the main thing that makes you feel overwhelmed is the pages will keep coming. People will say, call you. They will complain about you that you did not see the patient on time. They will have an attitude with you. Oh, we've been waiting for you for 2, 3 hours. We've sent you multiple pages. You haven't responded. They'll give you the negative vibes. You don't want that. If you do that, prioritize, delegated, that's done, right? So time management is very key. And then obviously be very realistic with things like, deadlines and stuff like that, goals and stuff like that. And remember to take breaks. Very important. If you have a busy shift, if you have a long shift, remember to take breaks. It's okay to take breaks. because, and this is an area that I'm learning to do as well, because sometimes you have a very, very busy shift. And one thing that I like about my colleagues, especially my Caucasian colleagues, they do not shy off from taking breaks. However busy it is, as long as, you don't have like cut twos and cut ones, like nobody is imminently dying. People take breaks here. People will tell you, I'm going for a break. However busy it is, I'm taking a short break, I'll be back. All right. And this is something that I keep reminding myself, that it's okay to take a break, short break, go do 1, 2, 3, take a, toilet break, take a tea break, take a meal break and something like that, and then quickly come back. Number 3, I must say self-care and hobbies is very, very important. You need to take time to care about yourself. You need to take time to exercise. Self-care. Self-care is very key. Self-care, I cannot reinforce enough. I think I have a video on the, art of loving yourself, art of looking after yourself and stuff like that. For me, it's very, very important to take a moment and look after yourself. My mantra is, if I'm not here today, work will continue. People will continue. My hospital will continue. The only people that may actually be affected, although they will still continue, is probably my family. Okay, so I feel like self-care is important. If you need to exercise, if you need to ensure you have adequate sleep, ensure you're putting in the right food in your mouth, your diet is okay, you get time to relax and do things. If you're a yoga person, do yoga. If you're a meditate person, to meditate. If you're a person that loves worship. If you love to read the word. Find a way to relax and build up. If you're somebody that likes to journal as well, like myself, journal. Okay, do something away from work, like something that you really do enjoy. Engage yourself in a hobby that you do enjoy. Engage yourself in an interest away from work. Sometimes for me, one of the biggest things for me is just sitting down with my friends and having a chat and a laugh. For me, that's more than, going to these fancy places, and, where else I do have a friend that just loves the sea. She will do every sport that's related with water. Water sports is her thing. Okay, so at the end of the day, find a way that will allow you to self-care, find a way that will allow you to look after you. And I always say, especially for busy working parents, working moms and stuff like that, sometimes you're overwhelmed, you come from work, then there are kids, you have to fix dinner. Take time, even if it's 5-10 minutes when you get home, in the car or whatever it is, take time and just reflect and debrief on how your day's been. Okay, it's okay to take a few minutes in the car. It's okay to take go for a walk alone and stuff like that. Just do something that will re-energize you and something that will center your core a little bit more. Number 4 is, for me, one of the strategies to avoid burnout is support systems. Support systems is very, very key. You could have colleague support system. For me, the biggest is my family and friends. Okay, my family and friends are support systems for me, because sometimes you come from work, you've been like up to here with cases, you just want to vent. They do not even understand the implications, but just being able to bring it out, talk it out, say, look, today, find a way, to debrief and to talk to people who care about you, people that are not going to, to criticize you, people that are not going to, people that will embrace you, knowing that you've had a difficult day, and people that will look after you. Obviously, the other thing that I've found myself using quite commonly is some online forums. For me, I do just love my medical moms group. Sometimes I just go into there, and that's on Facebook. I go into there and I actually, how to manage, your heart sync patients, and some of the things that I've learned, especially in general practice, I have learned from there. People say, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what helped, this is what did not help. This is a holiday destination you can go to and stuff like that. So for me, that's my little, my little secret. That medical moms group is very, very, I love it. And then the other thing is, you can utilize some work support systems. Every department may have its own way of, providing support from your colleagues, somebody that you trust at work. I'm saying this with a disclaimer sometimes, some of the things you share with your work colleagues, sometimes you hear them elsewhere. So be mindful of whoever you're talking to at work, especially things that are deep and things that can potentially turn around on you. Be mindful of such things because remember, people here can self-report and people here can report you for 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that. So be mindful of who you're talking to. It needs to be a trusted source and it needs to be somebody that can support you at the end of the day. The other thing about support is mentorship. Very, very important, I must say. I have found in my workplace, even for me to step up from one job to another, even for me to manage, times where I had, that emotional stress, feeling that I wasn't, adequate enough to a task. Mentorship. I've had access very, very good mentors who have reaffirmed me, mentors who have, spoken into my life, mentors who continue even up to date to check in and see how are you going, congratulations on these milestones, people that have honestly loved me and honestly supported me in the workplace. So I've been blessed in that way. The other important thing that has to be put in place to ensure that, burnout, and this is especially for the people that are in authority, is organizational strategies. Very important for there to be organizational strategies. I'll give you a quick example. Like in general practice, there are many ways that obviously you can easily get burnt out, but I found that some practices, like how people manage their practices, how people have team meetings, how people have, practice meetings and stuff like that, and they talk about issues, and they talk about, billing, they talk about, difficult issues, they talk about how to manage, and having that trust within a practice in that if I'm struggling with a patient, I can swing them to my senior colleague, and I feel comfortable that they will look after the patient and provide me with the support to say, look, Anna, you're doing the right thing. Maybe you can do 1, 2, 3 in addition and stuff like that. People that have mastered general practice and know how life works there. And I feel like this has helped me in the past, especially to manage burnout in when I started general practice. And I must say, how general practice is set up is obviously a lot of times you're on your own in your room with the patient, and sometimes when colleagues just pop in to say hi, when colleagues pop in over lunch break and you have a good chat there, and also just when you're blessed enough to have colleagues that will text you and say, can we do brunch together and stuff like that. So having that organizational strategies, like having an end of year meeting where you meet together and just laugh, eat, share, challenges and stuff like that, that fosters teamwork, that fosters liking for work, and that actually fosters and prevents significantly burnout. And I must say, one of the organizational strategies that should be in place is the ability for you to decide if you want to work part-time, if you want to work full-time, if you want to work 0.7, 0.5, or even 0.2. There are people that actually just work one day, half a day in a week, and that seems to work okay for them. And their practices actually allow that, and then maybe allow as well work from home on doing phone appointments and stuff like that. So it's very important to just see what is it at my workplace that I can instigate a change so that you feel supported and you feel that your interests are looked at. The other thing that I must mention is taking time off. I cannot reinforce this enough. Having worked in Africa and having seen, I still see up to date a lot of my colleagues. If you look at the roster, a lot of people that are obviously immigrants. And I please do not take me wrong. I do acknowledge the fact that we have a lot of people that we are supporting. We have family back at home. We have our own families. We have siblings. We have cousins. We have people that we are supporting. But at the end of the day, I think prioritizing you, and this is something that will grow on you. It's something that you're not going to do overnight. I mean, this is me almost 7, 8 years later that I'm now learning to say I will work 4 days in a week and I'm okay with that. All right. Whereas in the past, I would work almost 7 days a week, back to back, sometimes double shifts. Sometimes, the income, like I said, would be good. But at the end of the day, you feel tired all the time. You're irritable, you're edgy. You are not you're not a good person to hang around. So it's sort of picking which one's your bad, what's your bad, and what can you work with. So importantly, so you can plan. I always say, like Australians, they are either in a holiday, or they are planning one, or they've just come from one. Okay, so take time to plan, for vacation, for school holidays, to slow down during school holidays. And if you do not have money to travel overseas or to travel interstates and something like that, you can travel locally. You can do camping. You can hang out even just at home and do things around the house and stuff like that. Just try and take some time off work. Take some leave off work. Take some study leave off work. If you're unwell, take sick off from work and stuff like that. So remember to look after yourself by taking some time off away from work to do other things that are important. Okay, the last thing that I must say that is important, and I've already mentioned it in my previous video, was recognize the signs that you're starting to burn out, and recognize those signs and do something about it nice and early. Assess yourself, self-reflect on what's going on. Ask yourself, are people complaining about me because I am just less productive? Is it because I have lost my my gig, or is it just because I'm starting to feel quite burned out? And recognize as well, when you're starting to feel quite anxious about going into work, it could be just an indicator that you sort of need to take time. And lastly, remember to seek help. Seek help from your GP, seek help from your friends and family, seek help from your colleagues if they're trustable. Seek help. Importantly, if you need to undergo counseling, if you need to undergo career coaching, if you need to go through these things, take time and look after yourself. Take time to manage burnout, and take time to know that life can go on without you. So you want to try and make sure that that's not happening, because you need to look after you before you look after people. You need to fill up first before you fill other people. And remember, we only fill, or we only empower from what we have within. From the abundance of what we have, we are able to spread the love. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will not be among the statistics of burnout, and you will seek help. Thank you.